Happy Vending.
Hello and welcome to Happy Vending. I'm Bill, and today we're going to be fixing the coin return on this Royal G3 669 machine. The problem is when the customer puts in their money like this, and then let's say the product that they want is sold out and then they want to get their money back. They press this coin return, but it doesn't give them their money back. And the problem is, and it has nothing to do with the setting in the machine on this machine. The problem is the coin return, and if you look in here and see what's actually happening, what's happening is it presses this down like this. You see? It's actually not pressing this down enough to give you back your money. So I need a little extra push. You'll see if I push this down a little extra, you're going to hear the dollar come out. You hear that? So it needs to go down a little more, like maybe a quarter of an inch, maybe a little less than a quarter of an inch. There's actually two things that happen here when you press this. It pulls out the door on the gate a little bit to clear a jam. There might be coins jammed in there, so when you press that, it clears the jam. But it also, this is a switch, and it needs to go down a certain amount to activate the actual coin return to give you back your money. Now, there's a couple things you can do here. Now, I'm pushing this down and it's hitting the actual top of the coin mech, but it's still not going down enough. I mean, you could bend this a little bit, but it's still gonna bottom out on the coin mech. So my solution here is I'm going to put a little piece of wood. I'm going to double side tape it to the coin return arm here to give it a little extra push. Here's what I started with. I have these little wooden wedges. You can see these. I have them, carry them around. So I started with that. Now luckily this machine is located in a school, and I was able to use the wood shop, and I cut off a piece of that wedge about this size. It's like a little doorstop, and I grinded off the top, and I grinded it narrow enough that it will fit right on that coin return arm. Now if you don't have access to a wood shop, like you might not, like this school, then you're going to want to try to cut something about this size at home and then bring a file with you so that you can file it down to size. Or I could have brought, you know, the whole piece of wood and brought a hacksaw that I could cut it down on location, and maybe a vise to keep it in. You could also try using a little piece of cardboard in there or something else if you had a piece of plastic this size. But I like the wood because I can shape it with a file or a grinder to get it to the right size. And let me show you where this is going to fit. This little piece of wood, I want to fit it right about here so that when it's in there and the customer is not pressing on the coin return, you're not getting any pressure on this arm. You don't want this arm, like I don't want this up higher and this arm to be slightly depressed. Like I wouldn't want to start the spacer here, because you're going to be having some pressure on this gate, and then what's going to happen is customer will put in a coin and it will just fall straight through. The coin mech won't read it because this gate is open a little bit to clear a jam. So you never want to have that pressure on there. So that's why I'm going to start this little piece back about there. So there's no pressure on the coin door here, the coin gate door, so that nothing happens until the customer presses the coin return button on the machine, and then it's going to make contact there and give it that extra push it needs to push this lever down to activate the actual coin return switch. So when I'm mounting something like this, I like to carry around this Scotch extremely strong mounting tape. They have different pound capacities. I get the strongest available. This is 30-pound capacity, because you don't want that little piece of wood falling off under regular use. So this is the kind I get, and I'm going to cut a piece of this to size to match the size of the little wooden wedge. And then also notice I always carry around some isopropyl alcohol because you want to clean that little piece of plastic before you put the mounting tape on it. And I'll even wipe this piece of wood down so there's no sawdust on it, because that will ruin the bond. So let's get everything ready to go. Yeah, you got a little alcohol on there. This is where the tape is going to go. It's going to go on the bottom. I'm going to wipe that. Now I'll get some alcohol on the coin mech. Push that down. This lever looks a little dirty. It's probably never been cleaned. Get all that dirt off of there. Make sure you get a good grip on that with the tape. The alcohol dries pretty quick. If you see any dirt, here's another thing. While I have this, you open up this, the coin mech door here. You see dirt in here from your coins. It wouldn't hurt to also wipe that off. Get that clean. This is what reads what coins it is. All right, now let's cut this piece of mounting tape to size. There we go. Let's stick it on there. You want to press real hard on there for 60 seconds. Now that I've held that on there for 60 seconds, I just want to trim it to size, get all the excess off. And then we're going to take off the back piece and stick it on the coin mech lever. So I'm going to take off the back of the double-sided tape. It's going to be a little tricky to get off. Once you take this back piece off, try not to touch that. And you really want to try to get it down once. I'm going to pull this down. I want it to be right about, oh, it's starting to stick, right about there. And just like before, you want to put a lot of pressure on this for 60 seconds. Okay, so I held that in there for 60 seconds, and take a look here, see what we got. When this is going to push down now, that should be able to push all the way. I'm going to push it here on the coin return. You can see it looks like we're getting it to go down enough. Now, to make this glide a little smoother, I could put a little Vaseline, like some petroleum jelly in there, just to make that metal glide a little better on this piece of wood. And I might do that. I just don't have any on me right now. But let's test the machine and make sure it works. Now, I've pulled out all of the mug root beer, so if you try to get that, it's going to be sold out. But right now, I should be able to press the coin return and get my dollar back before even doing anything. And there we go. So I know it's working. But let's put it in now. Try vending a root beer. Now, it accepted that dollar now because it thinks there might be a root beer, and it's going to realize that there's no root beer, and it's going to tell me sold out. Now, the customer can then at this time choose another product and vend that, or press the coin return. Since it's accepted that dollar, it will give me back the dollar, but it should give me it in change at this point. And there's my 4 quarters. And before, that wouldn't have happened. They would have kept pressing this, and it wouldn't press that lever down far enough for the customer to get the change. So then they would have had to pick another product. Let's test the coin mech just to make sure all coins are still being registered. So we'll try each type of coin. First, a quarter. then a dime, then a nickel, 40 cents, I'll do another dime, 50, and then another quarter, 75 cans in here are 75 cents, and then I'll vend myself. Let's do a Coke. And there you go. So everything seems to be working in this machine. Quick repair. Hope you learned something, and as always, happy vending.